We are Anka. Stay tuned for updated real news.
Hello Anka Daily News viewers, how are you? I hope you're all healthy and well. The tension of the war continues to rise, especially the conflict between Russia and Ukraine is full of developments that reverberate far beyond the borders. This time the focus is on a shocking attack near Moscow. This news coming from deep inside the battlefield has once again escalated tensions in the region. But how will Russia deal with the fallout from this attack? What is Ukraine's connection to this incident? One statement after another in recent days seems to help us pull back the curtain. Russia has faced several attacks since the beginning of the war, but this time the target is no ordinary target. The explosion, which took place just a few kilometers from Moscow, has raised questions about the security measures taken. Moreover, the fact that the attack targeted a military train reveals how big a logistical challenge the Russian army is facing. In light of these developments, the statements coming from the Ukrainian side are quite remarkable. How advanced is the planning behind the attack? What is Ukraine's involvement, and does it officially acknowledge it? The answers to all these questions hold important clues about the course of the war. It remains to be seen what impact this attack will have on Russia's military strategy in the war. Russia's response has the potential to change not only the direction of the war, but also the regional balance. This explosion brings Russia's internal security as well as its weaknesses in military lines back to the agenda. Such breaks in the logistical chains of the Russian army could seriously affect this progress in the war. Moreover, such attacks can weaken not only the military, but also public morale and trust in the government. So, what are the details of the attack? Is this explosion a turning point that could change the course of the war? In the rest of the report, we will discuss in detail the repercussions of this incident both on the ground and in the international arena. Now let's take a step together to go behind the scenes of this attack that has once again raised the tensions of the war. Details are coming soon on Anka Daily News screens. Before we get to our report, though, a very quick reminder, the Anka Daily News team is 100% real. None of my teammates or me are artificial intelligence. Even though AI is extremely advanced, it's still not as good as us. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. We do read all the comments you leave on our videos, so please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you'd like to see on the Anka Daily News channel. And now let us start if you're ready. Anka Daily News reports. A midnight explosion at the Voskresensk train station in the Moscow region has drawn attention back to the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine's military intelligence organization, GUR, has publicly released footage of the explosion, saying it targeted a freight train used to provide logistics to the Russian army. Although the full extent of the damage caused by the explosion has yet to be determined, the incident has once again revealed how the war is affecting Russia's strategic infrastructure. According to the GUR, the explosion took place at around 0100 hours on Friday morning. The video shows the moment of a large explosion filmed from a distance. The GUR said the attack was a serious blow to Russia's military logistics and aimed at weakening the military's combat capability. A statement released after the explosion claimed that the Russian state media was trying to cover up the incident and that the Kremlin was facing fears of internal resistance. The Moscow railway management, on the other hand, claimed that the incident was not sabotage. In a statement, they claimed that the burning wagons at the station were part of a planned fire drill. However, this statement drew the reaction of experts who argued that the incident should be evaluated in the context of war. The explosion is seen as part of Ukraine's recent attacks on strategic targets on Russian territory. Kyiv does not officially claim responsibility for most of these attacks, but since the beginning of the war, it has been known to actively use missiles and drones to target infrastructure used by the Russian military. The explosion in Voskressensk is a continuation of a recent wave of attacks on Russia's railways. Such incidents lead to speculation of sabotage. Train derailments, explosions and fires are a frequent occurrence, especially near the border with Ukraine. Last September, a freight train derailed in the Belgorod region, reportedly as a result of illegal interference. In July, another train derailed near the Belgorod town of Stary Oskol, another example of the increased risk of sabotage in the region. In the same month, a freight train derailed in the Moscow region and 5 fuel tanks derailed in the Leningrad region. Incidents that were described as significant in the context of war. The explosion in Voskressensk has also prompted speculation that internal resistance movements in Russia are growing in influence. According to GUR, the Kremlin's leaders' concern about the increase in such incidents deepens the Putin regime's fear of losing control. Anti-war groups in Russia have recently drawn attention with their sabotage attempts and criticism of the Kremlin. While the Russian media emphasizes that the incidents are not sabotage, pro-Kremlin sources argue that such incidents are magnified in order to mislead the public opinion. However, experts agree that such incidents in Russia's infrastructure during the war are no coincidence. The explosion in Voskressensk shows that the war is raging not only on the front lines, but also at the logistical and economic level. With the prolongation of the war, Russia is facing serious difficulties both militarily and logistically. Railroads serve as vital supply lines for the Russian army, and any attack on these lines directly affects Russia's ability to wage war. As Ukraine continues to strategically strike a blow to Russia's logistical infrastructure, Russia is struggling to develop defense mechanisms against such attacks. Moscow's attempts to cover up such incidents are seen as a result of the Kremlin's efforts to conceal potential security weaknesses at home. The explosion in Voskressensk shows that the war continues not only on the front line, but on many different fronts. The logistical dimensions of the attacks limit Russia's effectiveness on the battlefield, while the Kremlin's growing fear of domestic resistance is straining political stability. Statements by Ukraine's military intelligence organization, the GUR, indicate that such sabotage attacks will continue. This shows that Russia faces serious security challenges not only vis-à-vis Ukraine, but also on its own territory. In the latest stages of the war, such attacks are expected to have a greater impact on Russia's strategic infrastructure. What do you think? What impact do you think such sabotage attacks will have on the continuation of the war? Why is Russia having difficulty preventing sabotage attacks? Let us know in the comments. We read and care about your opinions.